shoved onto older Australians in particular. We want to help older Australians.
What about the young ones, Peter?
They're self-funded retirees, part pensioners.
Here's a little video for the younger Australians and the educated adults.
Being ripped off online.
What I built here is a power supply. Pretty simple. I pulled my first microwave oven apart when I was about 8 years old. And here's the transformer off one I found on the side of the road. And it's normally stepping up 240 volts to 2,400. What I'm doing here is driving it through these transistors instead of the mains from this power source over here, which is outputting 2 volts. So what I can do is turn up this power supply to what it's rated at, which is 24 volts, and watch this 10:1 step-up transformer take that 24 and step it up to 240. It'll hold its true ratio of 1 to 10, and I can do that here. This is the current limit. Wow, I might just leave that up there. What does it say? 2 volts. This one here is the current limiting. Turn it off or up to maximum. This one here is the voltage regulation. As I beat that up, this will rise ever so slowly. And I'm going to keep it rising, and it's still rising. And when it reaches the threshold of these transistors, these will kick in, and the output on my scope will keep rising. And now we've got 200 volts per division, so we've got about 230 volts coming out there. So I'm just going to go and bump that down a bit so it's not continuously charging, and discharge the capacitor. There we go, and it'll go ahead and charge up the cap again. And that will obviously completely variable, and I'm about to change a few settings on it, so increase the maximum voltage output from about 240 up to about 600 or 800. That's quite easily done. But this is a short video I was inspired to make by watching Bill Shorten here discussing our electricity future with his colleagues, the member for Wide Bay particularly, and that made me want to record a video. And when the 600 volts is going to come out, it's going to charge this capacitor, and I'm going to drive that into my Newman motor, which will take that 600 volts and turn it into torque very efficiently. So I'm going to join this video on, and you'll see in just a moment.
I'll tell you what this government is doing. The Labor Party might want to kick up as much dust as they want. But as Prime Minister, it's my job to see through the dust to what really matters to the Australian people, Mr. Speaker. And what matters to the Australian people is making the decisions that ensure that we keep our economy strong, that we keep Australia safe, and we keep Australians together. The member for Barker has the
Here.
Speaker, my question is to the Minister for Energy. Minister, could you update the House on what action the government is taking to put downward pressure on prices for energy and what this means for senior Australians? And Minister, are you aware of any alternative approaches? The Minister for Energy has the call.
Oh, here's our man.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I
Step on down.
Member for Barker for his question.
Get in nice and tight.
His strong advocacy.
Member for incompetence. Here's our boy.
Now, he has almost 31,000 older Australians when he's elected over the age of 65. And he knows that their grandparents, their pensioners, their self-funded retirees...
That's our energy plan.
...an extraordinary contribution to the community in Barker and across Australia. In CWA, in Menship, in Show Society, in Rotary Club.
All powered by electricity.
Now, Mr. Speaker, my first priority as the Minister for Energy is bringing electricity prices down for all Australians, but particularly for those who are struggling to make ends meet. And we know that cost of living pressures are particularly important for older Australians. It can mean the difference between heating and eating. It can mean the being reluctant to turn on the air conditioner in a hot summer. And that's why we're taking tactical action to further reduce electricity prices.
Hot air, my friend.
By
Hot air.
establishing a price safety net
Leaf mulch.
to make sure customers get the best available deal. By taking a big step to the big energy companies. By backing investment in new generation and competition.
Deeply comical.
And I say further reduce, Mr. Speaker. I say further reduce because prices are already coming down. In this year alone, we've seen a 25% reduction in the spot price in the national electricity market, and we expect that to be passed on to consumers. We expect that to be passed on. Now, we've
As
already
stated several weeks ago, one electorate in the whole country went down. All the rest went up. One electorate. That was how many? A handful of people. And that was probably an accident.
And we've seen that in the members' home state. Because the
If not, it was incompetence.
Premier in South Australia ran a grand experiment of a 50% renewable energy target. And the outcome was clear. Amongst the highest electricity prices in the world at just under 50 cents a kilowatt hour, the highest in Australia and amongst the highest in the world, and the leader of the
dear
opposition
Lord.
wants to turn this experiment national. Well, we don't want prices across Australia at almost 50 cents a kilowatt hour, Mr. Speaker.
Actually, I paid 28, but it was 26 a few weeks ago.
But it's this government
And 17 about 10 years ago.
on getting electricity prices down and looking after the welfare of older Australians. The Prime Minister. Thank you.
Never mind all the industry that's shut down.
Questions. I ask that further questions be placed on the notice paper. And if Fat Man Scoop is watching, I'll clear it over.
Good plan, sir. Quick, run! Run for the fucking hills!
Without notice, the Leader of the Opposition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister.